Welcome to the Real South Africa Travel and Tourism.
I am Dr. Natasha Blanton.
And I'm Mark Blanton, and the owners. And we have amazing packages coming to Johannesburg. Everything we do is 5-star. Everything is private. And what else, Tasha?
Everything we do is exclusive and made just for you.
So all I can say is go to our website, therealsouthafrica.com. We'll see you here.
Make sure you pick up my 2 books that's in Amazon right now. The first one is Passive Aggressive Racism and the System of White Supremacy. And I talk about in that particular book how the system of white supremacy really runs on our daily lives here in America. In our latest book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, we go through those steps to try to deprogram you from the system of white supremacy. Make sure you can pick up those books on Amazon.com.
Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
At African Diaspora News Channel, we cover stories that don't receive mainstream attention, and we serve as the voice to the global Black community. We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media, connecting the African diaspora one story at a time.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
Peace, family. My name is Vicki Dillard for African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We're so pleased that you have joined us today. I do have a little bit of a ritual. As you come in, be sure to come in, giving us a big thumbs up, and share the broadcast. We ask that you do that so that way notifications are generated and other folks will know that we're here. Yes. And for that, we say thank you so very much. Family, we have a very, very, very interesting broadcast to share with you today. Yes. This is so very important. And family, I have been known a time or two for having this very extraordinary discussion on the person that is the main topic today. That is Miss Joy Reid, formerly, used to be, not now, used to be, of MSNBC. I have been discussing Joy Reid for years. And family, there's a very real and strategic reason why I was doing that. It is not because I am unnecessarily mean and enjoy attacking folk for no reason. No. There is a very strategic reason for which I was discussing Joy Reid relentlessly. Some of you tagged me. Y'all was in my DMs on different platforms. My assistant, she even sent me an email. I said, no, they're not emailing me. We looking for you. Because I was on other platforms and other networks and stuff like that for years. And when you gonna talk about Joy? So on my channel, I did a brief, I talked about it just for a short while on my platform, VickiDillard.tv. And so I briefly talked about it when I was headed to run several errands yesterday, just because I wanted to deal with it. But I broke the news on Twitter early the other morning. And then I put it up on some of my other social media platforms as a post. But family, this Joy Reid story has really taken, no exaggeration, all of the media world by storm. Why? Because everybody and their mama is talking about it, because this is so extraordinarily significant. Now, I want to focus on why it is that I discussed Joy Reid, but I want you to get ready to prepare yourself here in the next few moments to watch this video clip. Now, I know our brother Phil Scott, our beautiful founder of this wonderful network here, it appears that he discussed her on yesterday here on this network as well. But I wanted to talk about the fact that she ended up she broke her silence and came forward to specifically discuss on another media platform her recent firing at MSNBC. Family, it got quite emotional. Now, as you prepare yourself to get ready to watch this, I'm going to tell you something. I'm not mocking Joy Reid. I'm not making fun of her. I know some of y'all, look, y'all was y'all talking about some Joy Reid. I would call her Joyless Reid. It was all kind of stuff that I was doing back in the day. And then somebody ended up making a post that perfectly mirrored what I was talking about for so many years. So I ended up using that post that was designed for that purpose. And so I made that, that went right in line. And some of y'all probably wondering why. Well, Joy Reid served as a voluntary and a deliberate voice against the Black grassroots. I constantly went after Joy and talked about her and many other in media because they use their very large platforms that's quickly dying now. They use the access that they had to government and to the minds of the masses using legacy media and cable media to silence us, to mock us, to censor us. So why was Vicki Dillard constantly going after Joy Reid? Because whenever there was something that went down, like that medical situation that hit the world and we were on lockdowns, when it came to censoring social media, guess who was the voice? One of the first few voices that told the Biden administration, impose the mandates, do this, do that. It was Joy Reid, the Don Lemons of the world, and others similarly situated. I was constantly going after Joy Reid, and I'm going to always be a responsible media person. How does Vicki keep getting it right? I'm a spiritual woman first and foremost. And then later on, I end up getting a confirmation of something, receipts for something. Well, Joy was a big defender of Hillary Clinton. And do I believe that she was working behind the scenes to get her talking points from her team? Heck yes. Similarly with Roland Martin. How many of you all know that I was constantly nonstop for the past few years breaking down the fact that Roland Martin's name came up in the WikiLeaks release? Most people did not expect a rejected Black bootleg like him to come up in such important documents. But those emails showed that Roland was connected to leaking information to Hillary Clinton's campaign related to a debate question that she was not supposed to have. So he was working hand in hand based on information, credible information. There was evidence of that with her, with the DNC, with the Democratic Party, with the Hillary Clinton campaign. I'm bringing that up because I'm trying to get you all to understand that the people that's supposed to be representing your issues behind the scenes are secretly making sure they get good biscuits. They're only concerned about themselves individually in their little small groups, and they will throw you to the wolves. And they front in your face, and they cuss you out, and they mock you, and they work to censor us. So no, I ain't crying for Joy today because she worked to silence us. Now, with that being said, I want you to get ready to watch this brief clip of Joy Reid just on another social media platform. She's breaking her silence and she's using alternative media to talk about details that the world was waiting to hear directly from her mouth. Now, that segment was actually a bit longer than obviously what we're going to show you now, because y'all know we don't play the very long clips here. We try to respect our platforms and stuff like that and get to the point. But I want you to get ready to prepare yourself to watch this brief clip. Are you ready?
I hope I haven't missed anyone. It's just my heart is so full. I'm trying to get through it. But everyone who took the time on a Sunday when it was not a regular call to get on this call, I can't even begin. As you can imagine, I have been through every emotion over the past several days. Tasha knows, she's been on the calls with me for some of them. You know, Angela Shirley knows. Carrie Jammy's been on with me. Alicia Garth. I've just been talking to we call ourselves our machetes. I've been talking to so many people, but I've been through every emotion from, anger, rage, disappointment, hurt, feeling that, guilt, that I let my team lose their jobs. But in the end, where I really land and where I've landed on today is just gratitude, just pure gratitude, and gratitude not just because people would take the time to get on a call like this or to take care of me, but also that my show had value. and that, I'm sorry, that that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. And then it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you. Where I land is that the moment of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted and not just Black folks, or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life and defended them, or whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution, that is injurious to our liberty, defending books that people find inconvenient, that Nicole Hannah-Jones put into our spirit, that we need to understand 1619 as the real founding of this country, whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed. And where I come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God. And I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God. And so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show. I'm proud of my little team. The little team that could, I told them today, they were the Avengers. They were this little diverse team who we constructed deliberately to represent every type of person in this country, every religion, every faith, every race.
All right, family, did you see that? Miss Joy Reid was uncontrollably crying right there. Just wasn't one or two little tears shed. She had to pause and compose herself because of the emotions of it all. Now, let me tell y'all something. Again, I'm a woman. And I'm a woman and I get emotional too. It's not about the fact that you cry. It's what you are crying about. Where is my gavel? Talk black to me, somebody. Is Joy Reid, and I also called her Joyless Reid. Did Joyless Reid cry because the Democrat Party refused to give us reparations? Did Joyless Reid cry when the Democrats set up out of Chicago, for example? There are many other places of sabotage by the Democrat Party, their most loyal base after 60 years of voting for them. When the Biden administration was in office and Joy Reid still had her show, did Joy Reid cry about the fact that they pushed for a crime bill and successfully got one for the AAPI community and then redirected money, $50 million just to their community? Money that was already in the government, and the Democrats did that? And they rejected of doing the same thing for us. Did she cry over that? Did Joy cry when they tried to institute stuff online to silence our voices? Did Joy Reid cry when some of us, like myself, was targeted by a so-called fact-checking group? And they put my name in there to misrepresent me and didn't reach out to me to come after me? Did Joy Reid cry over that? Did Joy Reid cry over the fact that her network, how many of y'all saw my broadcast that I did here a couple of years ago on how Tiffany Cross says tried to come for me slick wise? How many of y'all saw that? Google it. Y'all see it right here in the search engine. Right here on this network. How many of y'all saw I did a broadcast where Jamil Hill called herself trying to come for me? She worked for ESPN before they let her go unceremoniously. How many of you all saw the back-to-back broadcast that we did on Angela Rye when she was dogging us, dogging people that we love and appreciate, and she crying a river because CNN and stuff, and nobody cares for them, and nobody is coming for them anymore. All of her hopes and dreams of going back on mainstream media and getting into the White House as an aide to Capitol Hill, her dreams were dashed. And she cried and cried and cried and cried some more and said that she didn't get out, and her colleague told me he didn't get out the bed for days. And she said she was getting up in the middle of the night screaming randomly, 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. No! I'm not exaggerating. How many of y'all saw the broadcast we did here, family? Why am I bringing that up? The whole time they had those positions, they mocked us. They worked to silence us, They pushed for policies that they know, because we use alternative media. They were pushing for policies that would censor us so that we would not continue to be a competitor to their voices. How many of you all know that the statistics and the statisticians and the demographers show that more and more folks are trusting us, listening to us, and that the cable news networks and legacy media is losing authority and power? Yes? How many of you all know Joy was about that life? Now, she's sitting up here talking about the fact in that clip, well, I went hard for Black Lives Matter. She said that she discussed and she does not apologize. What else did she say? For standing up for the LGBTQ community. She said she does not apologize for standing up on behalf of immigrants who just come here to this country for X, Y, and Z. Family, with her arrogant self, they still chose to silence the very large Black grassroots voice and those that represent them like us, like voices like mine that have been doing this for years and that did it in my own unusual way when the rest of the world mocked me. Joy's buddies, her network, which I brought up a minute ago, MSNBC. How many of you all know that before they fired Tiffany Cross a couple of years ago, that network, MSNBC, specifically her show, Tiffany, she specifically called out one of our Black grassroots voices and told their audience not to listen to us. I got to emphasize that because I'm trying to get y'all to understand. Joy is crying because she wants us to feel bad because she feels like her voice, her show has been stopped. Meanwhile, she was willfully, knowingly, and intentionally working to sabotage, silence, prevent, frustrate, fall, and stop and demolish our voices, which were your voices. Did Joy Reid bring on anybody like a Vicki Dillard? They tried to silence us, and they were effective to a small degree until they weren't. Until we continue to do what we continue to do. Somebody was talking about me the other day, and I made this statement about how consistent I am. I didn't care if it was 200 watching me live on different networks I've been on, different platforms I was on, or 2,000 or more. I didn't care if a video this day got 2,000 or a video the next day got 200,000 or 20,000. I continued to be consistent with getting out the word, the information, the knowledge to my people. And over time, the very people that was mocking Vicki Dillard, even when I was in the hospital for some procedures, I even went live a few times in my hospital gown. Y'all, that was crazy. Some of you all was mocking me saying, look at Vicki's fat face. Not knowing that I was sitting here dealing with a serious illness related to my organs and was shot up with all kinds of medicines from the doctor's office, including steroids, prescriptions, biologics, and a whole bunch of other stuff so they could help get my body under control. And I was still going live. I ended up finally upgrading to a different, after some years, Brother Phil was like, ooh, so speak, we got to level you up with your computer and stuff. My first laptop was given to me. And I used that little rickety thing that was in my hands that was given to me years ago. That's initially I was with another network when I first started using that one. And then I eventually came over here as well. I used what I had in my hand, even in the condition that I was in, to get our message out. And we started to resonate with the people. So much so the more of you listen to us to turn the tide of the election to not only affect the presidency, which is the White House, the Senate, the upper part of Congress, and the House of Representatives, the lower part of Congress. That's what you're doing. Did Joy cry when the Democrat mayor out of Chicago, this was a point I was trying to make earlier, when he tried to change the policy to prevent Black Chicagoans from being so effective for attending political meetings? Did Joy Reid do a broadcast on that and cry and say, how dare you try to institute policies to prevent Black voters from coming in? Did Joy Reid say, I did multiple broadcasts, meaning Joy, saying how Republicans are racist because they demand state ID to vote, but did Joy Reid object to the fact that it was a Democrat mayor that says that y'all have to have a state-issued ID to come to political meetings? Anybody that did not agree with the way the Democrats were doing the immigration, did Joy Reid bring on any of the overwhelming number of Black voices that kept saying, please stop giving them billions and billions of dollars and ignoring our plight? Why are you guys giving them residence and houses while you stepping over Black homeless people? Why are you giving them SSI for immigrants when Black veterans are sleeping on the streets? Did Joy even bring those on those broadcasts? No, she chose to ignore it. When the Black residents of Chicago, for example, because they were so ignored for so long, remember they told the Democrats, okay, y'all gonna keep playing with us? Y'all gonna keep trying to silence us? We're going to show you something come the week of the Democrat National Convention. What did the Democrats do? They start floating about the fact, oh, we're gonna do the Democratic National Convention digital. Remember they considered that? They considered doing a digital Democratic National Convention because they were so scared of what we were going to do, to punish you all, to shut you down, to push you back. They end up doing it, of course, live and in person. But I'm saying this is how dirty the Democrats were, and Joy didn't even cover a lot of that stuff. And to the small degree that she did, she made sure not to give it the true impact and to hold them accountable for it. When Joe Biden, after formally securing the presidency, and he was only waiting a couple of months later to do the oath of office, when he got online, when he ignored the Black folks that helped to get him in office, remember the Black bootlegs that we don't even rock with, remember? He started ignoring Reverend Al Sharpton and them, the biggest bootlegs of them all, the biggest bootlegs of them all, the biggest shuckers and jivers of them all. After they officially helped Biden get into office, remember they started ignoring Reverend Al Sharpton. Remember they started ignoring the Urban League. Do y'all remember that? They started ignoring all the Black bootleg type and so-called civil rights groups. What happened? How many of y'all remember Reverend Al Sharpton and them exposed them on their platforms? And that forced Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to answer their calls. Because remember, they came out and said, they're not even answering our calls no more. So what did he do? What did Kamala Harris do? They were forced to meet with them by Zoom. And in that Zoom meeting, Joe Biden admitted something. And the media tried to spin it. They tried to say, well, he didn't mean it like that, or it was out of context. No, baby. Did Joy Reid cry? And did Joy Reid do any broadcast on the fact that Joe Biden said that America is doomed, not only because of Black folks? And then he said that because white folks in America are getting ready to be the minority here come 2040, that they're also doomed? Did Joy cry when he said that? Did she cry when he said, and y'all gonna have to work with the Hispanics? Soon as he said that, mainstream media went out to try to put out little stuff online to say, well, it's out of context. He was making a larger point. No. Did Joy cover that? Did Joy do back-to-back broadcasts and cry when Joe Biden said that we ain't Black if we don't vote for him? And then she sit up here talking about she spoke up for Gaza. I'm not going to get off into all that, but tell the truth. She wasn't even talking about them folks in Gaza until the last minute. It got so outrageous, she was forced to say one or two things. And even then, she didn't even say nothing strong enough because she was getting so much backlash from not saying nothing at all. Now she's trying to fix her legacy. So now that she out, it'll look like she was about that life. stayed on top of you for years because she worked tirelessly and relentlessly. And like I told y'all before, based on information and belief, I believe she was in direct contact and was getting direct talking points from either Hillary Clinton or her camp to make sure that the stuff that she was saying was always making sure that it would undermine and silence basically what we're doing by pushing whatever the hell it was that the Clintons and the Democrat Party told her to push. Before I end my time here, I'm gonna give you a couple of things of why this is important. There's so much I could say, and I very likely will be doing a follow-up on this. Even if it's not a live this week, family, there's gonna be some programming changes this week, but still look for my content this week, okay? Watch this. Why is this important? It's important why I called her out and others like her, and why I was effective in staying on her. It's because these are your modern false prophets. Did you hear what I said? These are your modern false prophets. Family, do you understand that whoever has access to the minds of the masses controls the world? I'm going to say it again. Whoever has access to the minds of the masses literally control the world. How many of you all know there's a such thing as a war of words? There's a reason we call it a war of words. Because before the war, the victory is won out in the battle physically. There first has to be a narrative, a consciousness to mess with the eco-space of society. You got to see the message out there in the consciousness in the minds of the people. How many of you all know that the reason why they work so hard to dog black folks is that way when the police took us out, deleted us on camera, nobody would rise up to do nothing. All they would say is, well, they some thugs anyway. They justified them taking us out. They justified our unjust condition. Did you hear Joy Reid in that clip say that she was proud for going hard for the Asian community when they was experiencing all that stuff? How did the Asian community get $50 million during the worldwide medical crisis and we didn't, family? How could Joy brag about saying that and we've got nothing of the sort? I'm an emotional woman. I get upset, I get angry. I'm a feminine woman. I'm supposed to have those emotions. It's not that she cried. It's about what she's crying about. The issue is what she's crying about. She's not crying about the stuff that matters. She's tripping about her individual biscuits. And the whole time, she had access to power and people, places, and things, and they chose to work against us. And now, the chickens have come home to roost. Quickly, I have this article up here. When I'm talking about that these are the voices of false prophets, your modern false prophets, I didn't even give the team this article enough time, the producers time enough to get this article up. I don't know if y'all have time to put this up or not. Either way, this is an article that I discuss several times. What's this article? This headline, family, is from 2021. This headline says, Hannity tells Santorum he helped prevent Joy Reid from being fired. I know y'all said, Vicki, I know you ain't talking about Fox News Hannity. I know you're not talking about Rick Santorum, the political guy and the guy that's on CNN and stuff. Yes. Why in the world would Fox News come out and do something of the sort? Listen to this headline. I don't have time to show it to you, but just so you know, I'm not lying to you, because I know everybody, on this network, they do everything professional, baby, and everything. So I don't have the article to put up. I want you all to look it up when you get a chance. This particular article I'm reading from is from The Hill. Headline, Hannity tells Santorum he helped prevent Joy Reid from being fired. This is from 2021. I've been talking about this for years. I use this article as just one example of the fact that I knew they was going to get rid of her to supplement what I was always saying, and I was prophesying to her early on that they was going to let her go. She was just a tool for them to use. What does it say? Fox News host Sean Hannity, during a Monday interview with Rick Santorum, who was just fired by CNN, said an NBC executive thanked him for defending MSNBC's Joy Reid and helping her keep her job. Quote, when Joy Reid was in trouble, I was called by an NBC executive who said your public comments played a big role in us being able to keep her, meaning her job, Hannity said. She wrote me a nice note. This was one of many things I was discussing. Why did I bring this up? Even though I was telling y'all a long time ago they was going to eventually get rid of her. And why was I using all this evidence over the years to prove my point? I used Sean Hannity and Fox News to let you all know it's a game. Joy Reid was fronting. They love the Republicans. They love Fox because they bounce off of each other. Do you all know that that's how ratings work? Do you all know that Fox News' rating is higher because they're more effective in placating the needs of their very biased and anti-Black audience? But they got to have a Black face in order to be effective and keep attacking them. So one of the reasons why Sean Hannity of Fox News was fighting to keep Joy, because he needed a face to keep punching at for his audience. When you look at the multi-trillion-dollar war bill that your government can't account for the last several audits, both sides are for it. Both sides are against you getting reparations, Black family. They want you to pretend like there's a major difference between the two parties. They'll disagree on one thing or another, so that when in fact it's really controlled opposition. They give you the appearance. I grew up in Mississippi, and on the weekends, my grandparents and some of my family used to watch, what is it called? WWF? WWF. Now, when I was real young, like 5, 6, 7, that I didn't know that at that age that it was really fake. Talk black to me, somebody. My granddaddy would be sitting there, talk black to me, somebody. My mama would watch, my grandmama. Y'all ain't hearing me today. The whole family was sitting there watching WW. I didn't know till about some years later. Oh, this ain't real. And you can know it's not real because the condition of your situation has not changed. When it comes down to reparations, you ain't got nothing in both sides about that life. When it comes down to war and funding endless wars, both sides agree with that. How is that possible? How is that possible? We talking about the immigrant stuff. How many of y'all know that one of the most solid and effective immigrant bills that passed was under a Republican? Mr. Reagan. And when you ask, especially a lot of the Hispanic immigrants right now, talk to them. Most of them love Reagan. And you probably saying, why in the world would they? He's the one that helped to give some of them amnesty. They like to pick what allies they want for white supremacy because they knew, like Joe Biden said, that America was doomed because of Black folks. And it was doomed because they knew eventually that their numbers, white folks' numbers were going to be low. So they were looking for which immigrants they prefer best to be their allies, to keep them in power. When their numbers continue to decrease. I could say so much more, but I'm getting ready to stop. I'm just bringing out different things to show you why I stayed on top of this. One last thing, I got to get ready to go. My time is almost up. Last thing. How many of you all have ever heard of a company by the name of BlackRock? This company says, this headline says, and I'm reading this article from 2021. The headline says how a company called BlackRock shapes your news, your life, our future. It's way more than this. I'm only using this one company as an example. Y'all probably saying as an example of what, Vicki? Watch this. It says 5 giant corporations now control most of what you see and read. The smallest number of media companies are now reaching the largest number of people in the U.S. history, and the strongest critical analysis I can find is not in mainstream media, but in the student newspaper at Vassar, which gives you some idea of the pickle we're in. Who controls the corporations? Who controls our news? A helpful index was just compiled, not by mainstream media, but by Harvard researchers exploring media's future. Skimming the list, I see 2 names again and again: BlackRock Fund Advisors and Vanguard Group. I'm almost done. Give me 1 minute. BlackRock and Vanguard are 2 of the big 3. Every industry is clumping. Passive fund asset management firms. The third, State Street, is owned by BlackRock, whose largest shareholder is Vanguard. Vicki, what does this got to do with anything? Together, BlackRock and Vanguard own 18% of Fox, 16% of CBS, and therefore also 60 Minutes, 13% of Comcast, and owns NBC, MSNBC, CNBC, and Sky Media Group. 12% of CNN, 12% of Disney, which owns ABC, and 35%, and more and more and more. Why am I bringing it up? When you see those commercials, these are the people that's running Joy Reid. This is who they work for. When we found out, when we were resisting the mandates, which I won't get into details about that, who do you think is funding them? Pharmaceutical industry. Who pays their bills? This is who Joy speaks to. And how many of you all know that when some of us were objecting to taking a shot, it was Joy Reid that came out and dogged us. Don't you forget it. She's not our voice. She's their voice. There's a difference. And if she was really about Black life, she would have embraced the very large Black groups, folks that we represent. She would have listened. The Democrats would have listened. Don't forget that. I'm going to be doing eventual follow-ups, beloved. Be sure to join my email list on my website at VickiPlanet.com. That way you can find out about my products and services, my school. And then also we'll be sure my team is going to start sending out links to let you all know where you can find more and more of our content, like right here on the African Diaspora News channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, beloved. We're not here to make fun of anybody. We're not here to rest on our laurels, and we're not here because we're unfeeling and unthinking people. We're just trying to let you all know we told you from the beginning, baby, they're going to throw you away. So it never, ever, 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 ever pays to disrespect your own. And it never pays to sell us out for them folks because they'll throw you